Testing. Let me check. Let me test the stream to make sure we're doing well here. Forget about the echo. It's because I'm listening to the stream. All right. Hey everybody, and welcome back. It's Tier 3 once again. 19 drivers on track, just one away from 20. Not quite 20. I don't believe we've had 20 this week in any tier. I think it was 18 for Tier 1 that started the Grand Prix, or 16. I believe it was also 18 yesterday, and it's now 19 today. But still, I like the fact that we're filling up the grid most days. It goes to show that people are very interested in racing this season. Who's going to be the first to come out though is the question. Let's put everything we need. Looks like it's the Williams. So Williams of Tobe Vito. It's raining in quali, but is it raining in the race? That's what we want to know. New helmet night. All right, thanks for it's good that you told me that. Kez, I'll show people your new helmet. There you go. Oh shit, my bad, my TV's high. There's Kez's new helmet. I'm guessing he wants people to know. So we're gonna just show that for him. Looks like color grade of pink, orange, white, blue. I don't know what that design is on the top. Rain in Spain, yeah. Interesting, isn't it? But it's just for quality. I don't know if it's for the race. If any TT driver that's watching could tell us if it's gonna rain in the race too. But we have a very interesting tier here. I'm going to put up the driver standings. Let me just fetch it in Discord and send it to myself. Like we did last week. But the first driver to set the time is going to be the Williams of Tobarito. So we're going to stick with him to see what he does. And if we're having any issues with the sound of the stream, just tell me. It's like winning the lottery hardly happens. Yeah, it hardly happens. But it's just happening in quality though. I want to know if it happens in the race, then this is going to be a very interesting one. Because a lot of drivers definitely were not expecting it to pour down. Why is his wing damaged already? And he doesn't even care to go back in and change it. Interesting from Operator. I think he just wants to maybe set a time before he goes back in. But his wing is damaged already. You can see the front left end plate is off on that Williams. And Mr. Toberito is gonna be slightly slower. Maybe not too so much. Maybe it's just light green damage that you can't really tell, but your engineer will tell you that you have slight damage. I remember I had one of them in one race I did. I couldn't even tell I had it till the end of the race, and someone was like, "Ah, you raced your damage wing." I was like, "What? Did I have a damage wing?" Hmm. What time will he set though? I feel like it's DRS enabled though. Let's see if DRS enabled. Let's go on this. Yeah, DRS is enabled, so maybe someone could just go out there on softs to see if they can do something real quick. But I don't know. The rain is pouring now. Maybe they came out like right as quali started on soft and set a time. But there is enabled 123.8 for Toberito. What can his teammate do when he does cross the line next? It's going to be the Aston Martin of Randy Dunn. I believe that's Angry Badger 124.0. Kersinator will be next with a 124.8. Different times from them there as McLaren of Mr. Potwash, one of the championship contenders and one of the most consistent drivers in the tier. Not surprised that he's a championship contender. We're looking to get strong points for McLaren today to see if they can get the second win of the week after Pesci did get their first win in Tier 1 of the week. Because they've had a race win already this season from Bevan in Tier 2 back at Austria in the crazy Tier 2 race. Seems like Tier 2 have a course at Austria. Pot was 125.8. Definitely be looking to improve on that as most of the drivers behind him are on outlaps and are beginning their laps. Gaming Mike Pike goes, ooh, as Batman 123.3. Good time from him there. He goes provisional pole. He's looking to finally be on the podium this season. His teammate has had two podiums already, and Batman will be looking to get his own podium. He has had some some good performances this season, starting from race one where he got disconnected, dropped to the back, and fought his way all the way back to P5, I believe. No, P7 or was it P6? I think. Then at Hungary where he did his engine pen and finished P5. So he's looking to start at the front this time, not disconnect, and see if he can get a better time. 1:23.8 for Toberito doesn't improve on his quickest time. The Aston Martin of Angry Badger also would not improve. Behind him, he has the Red Bull of Shazam starting his first lap of the session. And we have the Haas of Cowley behind him. Cowley, very unlucky last week at Hungary. Not the best race. Also at Australia, not the best race finishes. But we'll see if he can mount his championship fight once again to get good results. There's still a long way to go. After this race, we still have about 11 races to go. So it's not over till it's over. Tesco will know a lot about that because at the start of the season, he had a very strong season and pulled away from the rest of us. But as the season went by, I just kept catching him, and it's very difficult when someone keeps doing that. But he kept his nerve and grabbed the championship in the end. But you can always grab a championship by just sticking it out. And people in chat say, will he bring in the rain with him? Yeah, yeah, we'll see. Up the kick and up with it. Thank you, thank you. Up the kick for sure. I'm hoping for a very good result for kick today. And I don't like to say it, but a very bad result for Visa RB. But Visa will be the strongest team. I'll say the strongest team on paper so far. Even if Kit are on top in the constructors at this point, I believe this is the strongest team on paper. So they're looking like the favorites to grab the constructors this season with Deck as their TP. Deck, Mr. Twingo, finally will grab a constructor as a TP. He definitely will be happy with that. But it's still a long way to go, and he still needs to keep that team clean, and he needs to keep them racing to the end because they have an 8 million. They are down 8 million in their money, so that's 8% out of their points. That 8% could be very crucial coming to the end of the season if any other team is very close to them in P2. But Potwash will be beginning another lap now. Behind him, the Haas of Adam the Sweet, 1:23.8 for Adam the Sweet, very close to Toberito. As Batman still on top, improves on his time, but he still can't beat Iron Shin, last week's race winner. Iron Shin will be looking to grab another one here today. And one of our comms guys is finally getting on track after 2 days of comms. I know he'll be liking that. Randy down up to P2, 1:22.6, a tenth behind Iron Shin. Not the best race from Randy last time around at Hungary, but who would like to rewrite his wrongs here at Spain. Let's see if the Aston Martin driver could grab the win. What are your predictions for wins today? Because Racing Bulls are a liability. Deck sucks and Racing Bulls are a liability. Yeah, Deck sucks. Deck sucks. We don't like Deck over here. As a Red Bull of Shazam will be going into the pits. The two McLarens of Potwash in P5 and Dima. You expect a quick time from Dima, so let's see what he will set when he does cross the line. He hasn't set a time yet, so he might be doing his engine pen this week. We'll see if he does retire after going into the pits. But when it comes to an inters, I'll say when it comes to a wet session, yeah, Dima has retired, so he's also doing an engine pen. So it's Slater, Rotti, and Dima will all be doing their engine pens today at Spain. But when it comes to inter a wet quali, I believe it's better to just put enough fuel to do multiple laps and just keep going and going and going and going because the track just gets faster and faster, and your tires Inter tires, what I've noticed that they're not actually their fastest when they're fresh, like how soft tires are and lose time over time. Inters actually gets faster after like 2, 3 laps on them when they've gathered enough heat on them and you can stick to the track as much as possible. But Iron Shin is still on top with a 1:22.5, a tenth ahead of Randy Dan. Can he make it 2 wins in a row? He's feeling himself after winning at Hungary in a race where he put no foot wrong. See if we can do it again. 50 Jets after the DNF last week, looking for a good result. Up to P7, it goes with that time. And that's a good one from him. And we'll see how much he can do with that. As Uko flying by is to Williams of Kesinator. Kes did talk about, disqualified from session. I believe that was the Ferrari because, oh my god, this game needs to fix, man. He just parked to the side because some cars were going through and he's been disqualified from the session. I know he would not be liking that. Down in P19, both Ferraris are going to have to start from the back, and it's a horrible day for the Scudera team. And then the other day at TP is not going to be happy with seeing that, as Potwash will be going into the pits for fresh tyres now. The kick Sauber of, I believe that's Pax, or that's Batman actually. Kick Sauber of Batman looking to improve on his time, 1/10 up on his time. Will he improve enough to move out of P3? No, he will not. But very close to rounding down, 3,000ths of a second split the Aston Martin and the kick Sauber. Batman is looking for a good result today, and that's the way to begin. 7 minutes to go in qualifying. And would anybody else knock off Iron Shin from that provisional pole position? And we'll start at the top of the Grand Prix when we do begin. Well, we will see. Kesinator, he said that we should look at his helmet, so let's give him some helmet time. That's the new helmet on Kesinator's head. Hopefully, he doesn't stay out on slick tires when it's raining today. As you can see, he decides to go on the Inters, and the Inters takes him up to P7, 123.5, just 3/10 behind Mr. Piggy, and that's a surprising time from Kesinator. And hopefully his strategy is better than what he did, the calamity he did at Hungary. And we'll see what Kesinator will do this time around in the Spanish Grand Prix. His teammates starting a fresh lap in P9. Toborito, one of the first the first actually to set a time, looking to improve on what he started on. 50 gens also be looking to improve, move up to the top 5, maybe top 3 for 50 gens, and the Aston Martin behind him, Angry Badger, will also be looking to improve. Kick Sauber of, was that Pax or is Batman? Pax still yet to set a time yet. Yeah, one of the drivers that also can be fighting for a championship this season. Not the best, also not the best results for him last week after his game crashed and he had to claw back, which is quite difficult to do in a track like Hungary. But he did it. As it says just from Willie, helmet is Ollie Behrman's one from Bahrain. Oh, I see. That dog says up the Bulls, or it means up the Red Bulls, as it's Shazam and Rotti representing that team today. Hmm. As the House of Kali. Is he up on his time when he crosses the line? Up to P1, 122.0, 5/10 quicker than the man in P2. And that's what I expect from Cowley. I'm not surprised. Iron Shin does improve, but can't beat Cowley's time. 4/10 of an improvement for Iron Shin. The fastest last sector for the Alpine, but it wasn't enough to take back his provisional pole position. Cowley going off there, trying to move out of the way for his teammate, who is in the top 10, but be looking to improve from that 10th position as both Aston Martins. Angry Badger crossing the line, 122.0. Track is definitely getting faster here. Will he be dry enough for soft tires in a few minutes? I don't think it will be. So it will be Inters towards, oh, is it? As Batman, as I was saying, Batman going for the soft. I did say earlier in quali that DRS is enabled. So who will be the one to risk it and go out on those softs to see exactly what they can do? Gaming Magpie, also one of the ones who's out on the soft. He's down in P12, so nothing can harm his position. Now let's see. Oh, sliding a little bit there, but let's stick with him. He's the first on the soft tires. It's an interesting one to watch. So let's actually stick with Gaming Magpie and see what he does. Behind him is Pax, goes up to P4 finally on his first time. Gaming Magpie goes into the first corner. Not too bad from him. He's keeping his car as straight as he can, especially with the rain pouring here. He's sliding a bit. You have to keep hold of that back end, especially when you have a loose back end in the rain. Hold driving with slicks. 2/10 up on his quickest time. Soft tires just might be the one. Can the Visa RB team absolutely picked the right strategy once again, like they did yesterday, and absolutely dominated the field? Keep gaming Magpie now in the second sector. This is a tricky corner. Yeah, he goes deep. He goes deep. That is not what he would need for his time there, but he might still be up on his time. The kick out of Pax is behind him. Pax is not currently on a lap, so we're going to stick with Gaming Magpie. He's the interesting one to watch. I don't believe anybody else is on the lap. Shazam is beginning his lap, and the kick of Batman, another person on the soft tires, is also starting the lap. So let's stick with Gaming Magpie in the final sector here. Was he up on his time? I wasn't actually looking there. Two more corners to go for the Visa RB. Would he be diving into the pit, or does he believe that this soft tire is going to improve? He's Does he look like he's up on his time? Is he? I can't see it on the steering wheel. When he does cross the line, no, he's 1 second down on his time. Soft tires just not might not be the one, but Batman is 2 tenths up on his time. The first sector might not be too wet for the slick tires, or maybe Gaming Magpie just made a few mistakes. It is difficult to go for this move, going for the soft. Cowley's also out there on the soft. What can Batman do as he's gonna try and take the apex? Unlike Gaming Magpie, he does it properly. Right hander now, fast right hander with the soft tires. Can he keep the car on the track? Can he? Yes, he can. It's going to be down to the straight now. Get a little bit of slipstream from the car in front, the Red Bull in front. Hopefully, not too much dirty air as he comes through this corner. Did he improve on his time? How should he again? I need to keep my eye on that. I need to keep my eye on that if they're improving on their time. But Batman, can he put himself in provisional pole position with those soft tires? He's actually throwing his car. You can see the dry patch starting to show on track. Final corner now. What is Batman going to do when he crosses the line? It's going to be only a 2 tenths improvement for Batman. Not that much. The soft tires might not be that fast compared to the rest. Angry Badger goes up to P2. Now into the pace. That will definitely be the end of his qualifying. Visa RB of Gaming Magpie is going for another lap on the softs, the old softs that he's used. He's going to go around once again. Those should be warmer than they were a lap before. The track also should be faster than they were a lap before. PRP widget in 15th, wacky racer that he's known for now. We're looking to improve on that time for sure. The McLaren of Port was the only McLaren on track right now. His teammates, 5 tenths of an improvement, goes up to P4. Cowley is still holding that provisional pole position on an outlap now, and they'll be doing their final push laps on this one. His teammate Adam the Sweet on his final lap, 5 tenths up on his time. Where can Adam the Sweet go when he does cross the line? Up to P8 for the Haas, the Mercedes of Mr. Piggy. Is he improving on time? So actually on an outlap, about to start the lap. Oh my God! Behind him was Kesinator going off track there. Did he invalidate? No, he did not. In P10, not an improvement for him, but I believe he's on the lap now as they're all starting their final push laps of this session. Let's head to the Red Bull of Shazam. On his lap, he's 7 tenths up on his time. That sees him go into P10, knocks down the Williams down to P11. He definitely can see that his qualifying is over, and it will not be any top 10 starts for the Williams drivers. The Kick Saubers of Pack will be going into the pace. His teammate Batman on another lap here. Can he improve? Pax was on an lap, sorry. Also, staying out on the inters, two different strategies for both Kick Sauber drivers. Who will pick the right one today? Pax currently ahead of his teammates. Wacky Racer goes up to P8. PRV Richard does improve and into the top 10 for him. The McLaren of Potwash coming out of the final corner, sliding there. And his qualifying definitely is over. He didn't cross the line before quali was over. And that's it for him. The top 4 for Potwash, unless someone else can have a say about that. Williams moving out the way for a few drivers that are going by. That's why you see yellow flags now. The Haas going in. He is done with qualifying. Is Mr. Piggy done? He is going for the final one out of the corner, crossing the start finish line. How much an improvement? 5 tenths. Only sees him go up to P8. Behind him is the Visa RB of 50 Gent. Where can he go to? Up to P10 for him. One of his teammates is staying up P50. Iron Shade grabs that provisional pole position. Can anybody grab that from him in the final few seconds of qualifying, as we have the Kick Sauber of Batman down on his time, definitely not improving, and that will be the end of his qualifying. Can his teammate, championship contender, 7 tenths up on his time, Pax TP coming out of the final corner, can he grab pole position? Yes, he can. 121.5 for Pax, and he's back on top. I'm gonna be looking to grab that win. What a lap from Pax the man, as the Alpine of Wacky Racer will be going into the pace, and that definitely is the end of qualifying. The McLaren of Potwash is done with qualifying, and everyone is down now. Pax grabbed it right at the end from Iron Shin. Iron Shin, the Alpine thought he had it, but both of them will be starting on the front row. And an interesting front 2 rows there. Pax, Iron Shin, Cowley, and Badger. Mr. Potwash and Batman in the third row. Very interesting third row there. Randy down in P7 will be looking to make Piggy will be looking to make up places right at the start of the race. As Piggy on the time. Is Piggy on the lap here? He's done the quali. He's taking the checkered flag. And that will be that. Once Rocky Rinker gets into the pits, quali will be over. and the kickstart of Parks will grab your pole position. Very, very, very interesting qualifying there. Different strategy calls. A few drivers decided to go for the softs. Didn't truly work. The Inters were still the faster tire as Parks picked the right strategy and he will be starting at the right place on the grid, right on top of the 1:21.5. We'll be back in 5 minutes. That will be 8. Sorry, is it 8 your side? I believe it's 8. 8:27. You pulled Epic so hard. What do you mean you pulled Epic so hard? Oh, Epic. Oh, Frenchie. You stop talking about that, man. Shh. Shh. But the question is, if Parks had stayed in Red Bull, will Red Bull be a contender for the constructors? If not, then maybe it was a better choice for the league to have. Oh, it's pouring! It's pouring down in Spain. Someone said it at the start of the stream that it's very unlikely that it will rain in Spain, but it is absolutely pouring. Definitely, driver's going to be on wet tires. Yes, it is wet. Interesting one. Can the Reds go to the end, or are these drivers going to do one stop? Oh no. Oh no, but yeah, as I was saying, I mean, if Red Bull were able to contend with Pats in their team for constructors, maybe yes. But if since Pax is helping us contend against Visa, will be that very strong team. Imagine Pax was in our team and Visa were just running away with it. It'd just be as boring as last season. Last season, like it felt like there was no competition in the constructors. The McLaren team were just miles ahead of everyone else, and it was just for them it was an interesting season, of course, but for everyone else it was just boring, no competition whatsoever. But this time around, we have myself and Visa will be fighting at the top, but there are other teams that are still there. McLaren themselves are still there, and Mercedes. Mercedes are quietly climbing. They can also be a contender if they have strong weeks. So it looks like a very interesting season in season 11. But when we're back on at 8:27, we will have brilliant racing for sure. I just see you guys asking me in the comments, am I doing comms tonight? Yes. If I tell you guys I'm doing comms, I'm doing comms. Don't worry about that. Even if I come late, don't mind me. I'll eating eggs. I started to cook eggs like start cooking eggs at like 3:30 my time. I thought I would have enough time, but I clearly didn't. But yeah, I'm here. Don't worry. If I know I can't do comms, I'll tell the league early, like, oh, I can't do comms, so they can find someone. I won't just be radio silent. When radio silent, just know I'm doing comms. Even if I come in late, it doesn't matter if I'm coming late. As long as you guys are enjoying the race, that's all that matters. Yes, up the case. Why did he even qualify? Did he qualify in the top 10? Well, I saw there was no top 10s for the Williams, so yeah, 13 and 14 for Williams. Visa will be. This is a tier that they're not too strong compared to the other tiers. In the other tiers, they're actually really strong. As we no deck can get them race wins almost every week. Gandalf is a strong driver who can finish in the top 7 almost every week. In tier 2, they have two guys who can get 1-2s every week if they do the right thing. They could have gotten into at Saudi, but we all know what happened to Silky. But they did get it yesterday at Netherlands, dominating the field and winning by 20 seconds. Move them up. Move them up. Yeah, Demolition Derby at turn 1. You see what happens. Demolition Derby at turn 1. Take everybody else out except from the green cars. Leave the green cars alone, people. Let me not jinx it. Good luck to everybody. Honestly, good luck to. I won't say everybody finish the race. I won't say everybody going to do this. But the question is, I remember at I remember at Mexico where it was pouring and some tier 1 drivers decided to go for the Inters. The question is, would Inters be the right tire? Let's see. Will Inters be the right tire? Cowley is going for it. Cowley is going for it. He's the only driver who decided to pick the Inters here. At the first part of the race, she might struggle a bit, but later on in the race, would it be better? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Cowley's the only one going for Inter. So I'll say for that driver, just stay on the wet. Yeah, stay on the wet. Stay on the wet. Might just be better. Everyone else is doing it. Since everyone else doing it, yeah. If I feel like if there were a bunch of people who were doing Inters, maybe like it might be people might think about Inters. But if everybody else on the wet and just one driver on the Inters, then even if that one driver takes advantage of that, you still have enough. Yeah. But it depends. It depends if it's faster. I mean, you can just put the Inters. You can put the Inters here. This game says I've just. I mean, just stay on the wet. Stay on the wet. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. I say I'm speaking to tier three drivers here. Like I'm trying to tell you guys, wet or Inter. I don't know. Whatever you guys decide to do. If most people are on the wet, I'll just stay wet. Good luck, everyone. Batman decides to go for Inters. Interesting call from him. The rest still on wet tires. Two drivers deciding to go for the Inters, and we'll see if that works. We'll see if that if it doesn't work, then just go into the pits for wets early and just go to the end with those wets. But if it does work, those two will take massive advantage of it. I remember in Mexico that happened. A lot of us were on wets, but some were on the Inters, and we forced us to go into until some were on the Inters, and we all went to the Inters here. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, Mark and I are having a chat with our boys in the kick chat to see what we're gonna do. But here we go. It's one light, two lights, three lights, four lights, five lights. Round four, Spain, lights out, foot to the floor, and go, go, go. Great start from Pax. He definitely will keep his lead here. But the question is, how well are the Inters working? Batman is already showing that they are working to perfection. The Aston Martin of Randy Dan also decided to go for the Inters. As you can see, Cowley in P2. He's not struggling too much. Randy Dan going off track there is Kezinator and the Williams moving on to P11. Toberito is going off track there as he's going to be struggling on those wets. Who picked the right strategy here? Is it got the Inter drivers or the wet drivers? Cowley's been overtaken by Mr. Potwash on the inside, and it looks like for now the wets are working. But when that dry line starts to show up, the Inters definitely will be a good one to be on. Pax will use this moment to try and pull away from the grid. Let's pull up the tires. That's exactly what we need. We don't need telemetry, but we need the tires for sure. 4 drivers decided to go for those Inters. Would those 4 drivers do the master plan, or would that be the wrong one? As you can see, they're still holding it, not struggling too much. As it's first clean laps. I'll say clean laps for the first few laps here in a wet Spanish race. So I'm quite surprised from tier 3, and I'm very glad that they have cleaned there. But a few drivers changing places at the back as the Williams is squabbling with the Red Bull drivers. He does have a little bit of damage on his car, like he did at the start of quali. He has at the start of the race again, side by side the Red Bull of the Williams and Shazam. Okay, but the Williams is going to overtake. The Williams is going to go off track here. Will he come back on track? Badly, no, he wouldn't. He's going off track once again, struggling to Burrito to keep his car on track. The Red Bull of Rotty is going to make it difficult for him now. They're going to head down. 2-1. Let's head up to Mr. Piggy. Very close. Makes that dive down the inside. The Aston Martin is also falling off track there. He's on the Inter tires. Are they working on his car? They are working on Piggy's car as he's now holding on to Iron Shin in front. Randy Dan gets past his teammate of Angry Badger. Up to P7 he goes, and the Inters may be the right tires when the dry line starts to show. But if his dry line doesn't show early enough, these other drivers could just go in for the Inters later. Anyway, so we'll see. If it takes a few laps, I'll say about 7 laps before they do start to show. And Parks now starting to run away from the grid. This is exactly what the King Sauer team will need as Batman right behind Mr. Potwash, who was overtaken by Cowley earlier in this race, but he'll be looking to get past the Haas driver as side by side the McLaren and Shazam go. D-Man gets past him. Somebody's struggling at the back. Rotti's losing places. The McLaren of KL is going to get by him. And there's just so much happening. It's hard for me to keep track. As Torito gets past the McLaren once again. As these guys have lost the pack in front and will be looking to catch back up to it. But KL and Slater fighting with Rotti there. Slater was looking for the inside, didn't get it. Rotti almost goes into the back of KL. He's now side by side with the Ferrari. They go wheel to wheel around here. They almost make contact, but Rotti is going to have to hold it back from KL. Shazam and Dima go side by side. Dima crossing the line there and going into the pits. That's a late entry into the pits, but it looks like he's going to be inter tires for Dima. A 10-second penalty. 10-second penalty for Dima speeding into the pit lane. Parks still running away with it. 2.6 seconds. The West clearly still at the stronger tire at this point of the race. Let me try and look for some Kesinator up to P9. Look at him go as his next target is going to be 50 Gen. Get him. Get that visa, LBKs, as he's chasing down 50 Gen. 50 Gen is going to have to defend from the fast moving, the rocket ship Kesinator in that Williams. And what can he do to get past the visa? Will be the Visa is a very strong driver, so it's going to be quite difficult for him to make that move on the Visa. Be that definitely knows what he's doing, and he can keep 50 Kesinator behind for now. But Parks has slightly lost time to Cowley. It means that the Inters just might be starting to work. The dry line will start to show very soon, but it's still pouring down. The heavens are still open as Batman right behind Paul Walsh should be looking to get past the McLaren, who slightly loses the back end there, but Batman is not close enough to make a move. This time around, Angry Badger right behind Mr. Piggy, squarely trying to catch his car as he comes to the final corner. One corner to go. Can he take his flight car through here? Fastest lap for Cowley. Inter's definitely at the tires to be on now. But how long can those wet tires hold on? I believe the wet tire drivers should hold on for about, I'll say to like lap 10, go on the Inters and go straight to the end from there. But that's what I did in Mexico. That's what lots of us did in Mexico. And that strategy still worked. I believe I still finished ahead of a bunch of drivers who started on the Inters. Because the Inters are still going to burn out. Especially when they started with them when it was this wet. It might be a problem, but it's not a problem for Cowley as he slowly started to catch Parks in front. Potwash under pressure from Batman. Batman and the kick will be looking to get past Potwash, but the championship leader, I believe, is Potwash. Let me check. It's not going to make it easy for him losing the back end as those wet tires are a bit of a struggle. As Paul Walsh can still keep Batman behind. This is the closest fight that we have on track. KO is 5 tenths behind Wacky Racer, but we'll go down to that very soon. Let's see if Batman can clear the McLaren of Port Wash here. I say, cares, box for mediums. Stop trolling, Winnie, stop trolling. If he does that, if he does that, he should just be banned for the rest of the season. As he's coming out now to the final two corners, can Batman get the better exit than the wet tires in front? The wet tires clearly are not the tires to be on now. So can Batman have it as he heads down the straight? Cowley now with the fastest lap, 1:31.4. As Cowley now 1.2 seconds behind Parks, as gaining on Parks as the laps go by. Angry Badger into the pits, Iron Shade into the pits. I believe it is now the time to get on those inter tires if you are on the wets. As Parks definitely will be thinking about that as Cowley is gaining on him more and more. But Cowley will still have to go into the pits on his inters. Later in this race, Parks, they're swinging that back end. You have to have back end control when it's this wet and when you're on tires that are not too favorable for the weather. As KL now has been overtaken by Iron Shane. He's on those wets. Iron Shane on fresh inters will stay ahead of the Ferrari of KL. Heading to the front now, Batman still putting a lot of pressure on the McLaren of Potwash, and he's closer than he's ever been in this race. Cowley also closer than he's ever been to the Kick Sauber of Parks, one of the championship contenders. Cowley will be looking to recover his championship in this race. He wants a win in Spain, and he definitely will be going for it. He almost had it last season in tier 3, but I can't remember what happened. I think he was put on hards. He was put on hards in the last last safety car. And that made him struggle to make moves when the safety car did come in, but he did end up recovering a P2. This time around, he won the P1. Pax has decided it is time for the Inters. Those Inters that he will go on now definitely can go to the end. They will struggle at the end, but they definitely can do that. He doesn't split into the pit lane. Good one on him there. Batman is trying to save the slipstream from Potwash, but it will not be enough. Carly now leads this race, and he will try to pull away from the rest of the grid. Pax is going to drop down past a few drivers who decided to still stay out on those wets. But Pax is going to be overtaken by Randy, who actually started on the Inters but lost a lot of places at the start. But Pax is still ahead of Iron Shin, exactly where he will want to be. None of the drivers who have got into the pits now are ahead of Pax in this one, and that is what our previous race leader will want. As Batman now pushing Potwash corner to corner, putting lots of pressure on Potwash, but the defending from this man in that McLaren is exemplary. As he touches the grass a little bit there, Batman, that's slightly going to lose him time, and that's going to push him away from Potwash. Now 1.1 seconds behind. He's going to have to gain that time once again. He's under pressure now from Mr. Piggy, our race winner in Australia, before he got the penalty because of the safety car problems. As Shazam now right behind Gaming Magpie, who's not having a bad race here, but the two Visa RBs starting on those wets will be thinking about going on the Inters in this race. Definitely they will be thinking about it, as most of the drivers now believe that it's the quicker tire, and it's definitely the quicker tire. Cowley flying in front, looking for the win, and he definitely will be trying to get that win. Right now, quickest lap 1:31.10 for Cowley. Batman behind Potwash still can't get past the McLaren, who's trying to get temperature, riding on the wet side of the track. He knows that those tires will start to overheat on his car, and that's exactly what he would need to keep the kick Sauber behind. Going into the pits, it's now time for him to get those wet tires off and go on the Inters. Anybody else close to a move here? We have Shazam right behind the Visa RB of Gaming Magpie, who's still holding Shazam behind, but it's going a little bit deep there. They're both still struggling on these wet tires. Shazam keeps the dry line. Can he get past Gaming Magpie here? No, he's not close enough before they get to turn 4, so he's going to have to hold it back. Rotti dropping down, and he's going to drop down to P14 after coming to the pits. Can Dima get past Rotti when he does come out of the pits? No, he cannot. Dima was one of the first to go into the pit. His tires are a little bit warmer than Rotti in front. Will he be able to take the opportunity to get past the Red Bull? Looks like the Red Bull can't hold his place from Dima. Heading back to the front, Mr. Piggy sliding on top of the corner of the apex there. And he's going to lose time to the Kick Sauber in front. The Kick Sauber still stuck behind Potwash. One Kick Sauber stuck behind an Aston Martin yesterday for the longest time before he could get him right at the end of the race. Azima has left the session, and if you're doing race control, please give Dima an invite. I believe we have Bevan and Tesco doing race control, so I don't need to do that. As Batman now closer than he's been to Potwash. This time around, he wants the slipstream 3 tenths quicker than his quickest lap, Batman here, but he's not close enough to make the move. Potwash goes back to the favorable line and will hold Batman behind. Batman is struggling to get past that very, very wide McLaren at this moment. And he is sliding through the track there. Sometimes I love watching drivers racing in the wet. I don't like racing in the wet, but I love watching drivers. Let's see. I also beat Willie. Let's put that here. I also beat Willie. Really beats us out. Oh my days. But if Batman looking for the inside, he's not going to get that inside. Potwash still deciding that the wet tires are not a bad tire to be on. And he's not too far from Cowley. Cowley is lap by lap pulling away from them. But if he can hold Batman behind, he might be able to extend his wet as long as possible before going for fresh inters. Batman will still have to go for inters in this race, because his inters definitely can't go to the end as he's climbing the corner. Then maybe that'll be a warning for the Kick Sauber, but the dirty seems to be a problem for that green car. Kick Sauber trying to get past that McLaren, making it very, very difficult. And this is the most interesting fight so far, as Piggy behind is just watching them and observing and looking for where he can make his move in this one. This is the closest Batman has been to Potwash, and can this be his moment? He picks the dry line, Potwash back end sliding there. Batman is going to deploy all his ERS as they head down the straight here. Can he get past Porsche? He's gaining. Will he pick the inside on the McLaren? He's going to go for the inside here. No, he's not going to. He's going to hold on to it. He's going to hold the move. He doesn't believe that he was close enough. And Porsche can't keep that car behind. Again, Pax though getting past Gaming Magpie, who will have a go at Pax definitely as they head to turn one. Pax will pick the defensive line. Can he defend from Gaming Magpie as they head here? Almost making contact. Magpie will try around the outside. He can't complete that move. The grip on those wet tires are just not strong enough for him to do so. Kesinator though decided to stay out on the wet tires. Up to P6 he is, putting pressure on 50 Gent. Potwash has finally been overtaken by Batman. I didn't see that happening, but Batman has finally cleared Potwash, and he can use this opportunity now to chase down Cowley in front. And Mr. Piggy will be the next to try and get past Potwash here, as Pat is going to have a very tall task now to try and get past Shazam on the side. As Kesinator though pushing 50 Gen corner to corner. Can he complete the move? Both on those wet tires, so they'll be facing the same struggles. What can Kesinator do with his new helmet? Riding that Bearman helmet, can he get a Bearman result here? Looking for a top 4 finish as they are wheel to wheel here. Can Kes hold it round the outside? There he goes. Kes wheel to wheel with 50 Gens. 50 Gens gonna hold it behind, but Kes is holding it there. Bravery from the Williams as go wheel to wheel down this corner. Kes is gonna clear 50 Gens. He goes off the corner, but a brilliant move from Kesinator up to P5. Lovely driving from him, and this time around, when he decides to use wet tires when it's wet, he can drive. As 50 Gent is not going to make it easy for him. He will pick that inside. Can Kes hold it round the outside? 50 Gent will they make a little bit of contact? And Kes, can he keep his place? Yes, he can. More contact made between those two. They're still going wheel to wheel here. Even more contact made. Aggressive racing there for Kesinator. Can't keep his place in P5. What racing was in here? 50 Gen dives down the inside, takes it back from Kes. Kes, can he hit it 50 Gen with the switchback? He can hit him with double switchback on the left hander here. You need to brake a little bit earlier than the Visa RB, but the Visa RB is gonna keep Kes behind. Absolute entertainment from Kesinator. Unbelievable. He's the GOAT actually. Kes is the absolute GOAT. As everything is happening here. Kes is giving us pure entertainment. Pax will catch up to this pack of wet tire drivers as Batman doesn't have the pace to reel in Cowley. Cowley wants this win and is definitely going for him. Look at that Haas fly. As Batman now 3.9 seconds behind Cowley. Will he be going to the pits on this one? No. Potwash losing time to Batman in front, but he's doing a great job to still hold on to those wet tires. Mr. Piggy now very close to him. Potwash is using what? As Batman? Is that Puzza? Batman? What is he doing? Batman has just stopped on track. What's going on? Did he get kicked out of the session? I mean, he got kicked out of the session. Does that mean a DNF for Batman? Is the game going to DNF him? It looks like, I don't know. He's definitely still in the game. I think maybe something happened. But it's another calamity for Batman, looking for a podium on this one. But something happened. I don't know. Both country, yeah, probably Portola probably just died or something. Oh my god, as he's sitting there on track and he's back on again. He can now get back onto track. Oh my, he's just sitting in the middle. Hopefully nobody runs to the back of him. He's finally back and he drops all the way down to P13. Is that a safety car? Is that a safety car? I believe so. A virtual safety car. Looks like a virtual safety car. But another calamitous day for Batman. He was looking to get that podium, and now he's been dropped down behind the Visa RB. Oh, drive through for Kes! Drive through for Kes! 50 Gent also gets a penalty. I don't know if that was a drive through for him too. Oh, unbelievable. What is going on here? As Batman might have lost. I don't know what he lost. But he definitely has dropped down to P13. Pax now behind those two wet tires. And he'll be looking to get past Kes, who dives down the inside of 50 Gen there. Pax is going to pick the inside to get past Kes. Round the outside he goes. He definitely is going to clear that Williams. Now next is going to be 50 Gen. And Pax now again is the leading kick Sauber after the unfortunate result for Batman. Luckily, I'm happy that he didn't DNF. At least he's still in the race, Batman. That's crazy stuff. Kes will be staying out. 50 Gent going into the pits for the Inters. And he's now right behind him. Iron Shin cares a late defense there from Kers. Iron Shin will have to pick the outside. And Kers is going to hold it down the inside. But Iron Shin will complete the move when they do get to turn one. Crowley now 7, 8 seconds away in front. As Batman was the one that looked like he might be able to catch up to Crowley, but very unfortunate for him here. He's down in P10. When will he go in for fresh Inter tires? And how much of this race can he recover here? It looks like, yeah, it did look like his controller, whoever said his controller died. I think you said the right thing. It looks like controller died. I've never seen that issue before of a driver just stopping. He didn't even get kicked out of the session. He just stopped. But Parks now 14 seconds behind Mr. Piggy. Can he take this Inters to the end? He can try. I believe they can take the Inters to the end. They will be dying at the end, but he definitely can't do so. Cowley will definitely have to be thinking about a pit stop. When he does take that pit stop, he will be behind Parks, but will have fresh Inter tires. He's cooling down his tires on the wet line there. Pot wash. Cowley now with a 129.8, even improving as the track is getting even more dry here. Those wet tires are definitely not what you want to be on. As Piggy now takes that 3 second penalty. He's right behind Pot Wash now, gaining on the McLaren of Pot Wash. Can he complete the move on him? No, he cannot. He's going to have to hold it back on the McLaren driver. And McLaren is struggling on the wet. I'm surprised he's still out there. Parks now gets that fastest lap. Iron Shin behind 2 seconds. And Parks can pull away from him. He's slowly gaining on the drivers in front. Cowley actually is 22 seconds ahead of Parks. So no, if he does go into pace, he will still be ahead of Parks. Cowley absolutely cruising in front and looking like he will grab the win. As long as he doesn't make any mistakes, he definitely will be grabbing the win in this one. Can he go to the end though is the question. I don't think so. I don't see him going to the end. Batman is the leader of this pack now. He's going to struggle a bit because the drivers behind him have fresher Inter tires. So Burrito, Rotti, and Adam are going to make it difficult for Batman here. Can he catch up to Gaming Magpie in front on those wets? A few drivers still on wets in front of him. And we'll see how it turns out for his race. Pot Wash for 3 tenths behind Mr. Piggy has been overtaken by Mr. Piggy, but he's doing a good job here. But if there's any moment to pit for the Inters, it should be this moment. I feel like his TP Bevan will be telling Pot Wash to come into the pit. It has to be now or never. The track is dry enough. You've done a good job on those wets, and you're clearly struggling. And he still stays out. Pot Wash decides to stay out. He's losing time to Parks behind. And it is not the best choice for Pot Wash, but we'll see how this works out for him. As Parks will be gaining on him lap by lap. Cowley will be pulling away lap by lap. Piggy is doing a good job, but he has that 3 second penalty. And the drivers that decided to go in the Inters picked the right choice here, but they still have to go for a second pair of tires. Another Inters for sure. I'll see what happens. Shazam Coily P6. Yeah, he hasn't gone in. He hasn't gone in yet. He's staying out on those wets. Don't see exactly what he can do with this choice. Right behind him is Randy Dan, still struggling to get past Shazam here. Magpie finally will go in for those Inters. Will he be Inters or is he going to make a mistake and put wet tires on? Don't put wet tires on. Here we go. He puts the Inters tires on for the Visa RB. The House of Adam the Sweet also coming into the pit for fresh Inters. Actually, those are not fresh Inters. He's been on these Inters before. 3 laps already. But they're fresher. Oh, did he? Oh, I think Adam is just doing a drive-through. Adam might just be doing a drive-through because he was on 2 lap Inters a lap before. Yeah, I think Adam just did a drive-through there. Kesinita has also joined his drive-through. He was giving us a lot of entertainment. I believe 50 also got a drive-through too because they've cleared their penalties and they are still close to each other. These two will continue to fight and hopefully continue to give us a lot of entertainment here. Parks is gaining on Cowley a lot. Cowley knows that for sure, but he wants to make sure that the Inters that he will go on will be as fresh as possible when he does go on. Pot Wash now decides it is time for the Inters. Oh, quite a slow entry here. Trying not to speed into the pit lane. Parks will get past him here. A few drivers will get past him. The question is now, the drivers who decided to go into Inters at lap 5, lap 6, can they take it to the end? We did it at Mexico. I don't know if they were able to do it here. The tire wear is crazy at Mexico though. Here, the tire wear isn't actually that crazy, so maybe they will be able to do it. It's getting more drier and drier, but I don't believe it's going to be a dry race at all in this one. Slater is out of the session. Hopefully they can get him an invite here. As Batman now back up to P7, right behind Mr. Potwash, that he was struggling to get by and finally did so before he got kicked out of the session. On those old Inters now, it's going to be difficult for him to get past Mr. Potwash on this time. You see how much he can recover a race that was going to be a very good one for him, but it doesn't look like it's going to be at this moment. I mean, compared to what it was going to be. But Parks is gaining on Mr. Piggy in front. So Burrito with 3 second penalty. Second driver now to get a 3 second penalty. So that will be no two extra points for Toborito as Parks in P3 gaining and gaining on Cowley and Mr. Piggy. Cowley still 20 seconds ahead. Doesn't need to come in yet. He knows that for sure. Trying to make sure that his second stint has very fresh tires so Parks wouldn't have a chance to get this win. Cowley looks like he's just go. Parks gets a 3 second penalty. The third driver now that's not going to get that extra 2 points. Behind him, we have Iron Shane who's slowly gaining on Parks. 3 second penalty now for Magpie, too. I see now the fourth driver now to get a penalty. As I'm talking about penalties, they're all racking them up now. I am showing the quickest lap, 127.7, and the track definitely is getting faster and faster. Is there any other fights on track? Nothing really to watch. So I was gonna stick with Wacky Racer Kez and 50 Gents. As PRVs on those inters, Kez and 50 Gents on wet tires. Interesting call from these two. I need our TPs to be looking and wondering, like, what are you guys doing? I expect you to be in for Inters right now, but we'll see if this choice is going to be the right choice for these drivers. As Kesinator now, 1 second behind 50 Gents. Can he give us more entertainment like they did few laps ago? Kesinator, we need it again. Come on, Goat Kes, catch up to him. I'd say box for hearts. Yeah, very. That's the best strategy I've ever seen there. Box for hearts. Rotti, like Doug said, yeah, up to P9 on 9 lap old Inters. Interesting. How much of a recovery can he make? Can he get back into the top 5? He didn't start in a favorable place in this race. Let's see. Position changes. Yeah, 9 places made from Rotti as he's won the most places for drivers who have come into the pits. Not bad for him. He's behind Batman now, who's still on those tires that he started on. And can Batman recover his race? He definitely will be thinking about a pit stop very soon. When will Cowley be going in for his own pit stop? Okay, will he be looking to take those tires to the end? I'm not sure if they can do so because they look like they're starting to struggle and lose time to fresher tires behind. Parks is now 5 seconds behind Mr. Piggy. Let's get back the tire situation here. Going into the pits finally, 50 Gent believes it's time for those Inter tires. 50 Gent will go into the pits, and where will he drop down to? It looks like the pit stop might just have been too late for 50 Gent, losing so many places. He might even get behind the Ferrari of KL when he does come out of the pits. Let's see where KL will be when he does come out. Yes, it looks like 50 Gent will be behind KL and almost even getting lapped by Cowley, Here we go. Here we go. Jesus Christ. Died, man. But yeah, I was saying, why did they go on the medium tires? Three drivers on the mediums, and it's an absolute calamity from them. Batman, a race that looking like he was going to finish on the podium, looking like he's been absolutely thrown away. It's definitely not time for mediums whatsoever. The rain is still pouring. DRS has not been enabled. And that is definitely a calamitous mistake from Batman there. Cowley still stuck behind Iron Shin. Potwell should be gaining on drivers in front slowly as Kezinator gets a 3-second penalty. Cowley's trying to get past the Alpine of Iron Shin. Will pick the outside line here. Has the fresher tires. And finally, can he clear that Alpine? Doesn't look like he's going to do so. The Alpine is still defending from the Haas. He's going to use the left-hander now on those first tires. But Alpine of Iron Shin is holding him back. Piggy still out there on 24 lap old Inters. And if he's Mr. Pax going into the wall, Pax, and it's falling apart for the Kick Sauber team. Is that damage on his car? No, it's not. Luckily for him, he can keep going there, and it's all falling apart in the Kick Sauber garage. Pax almost going into the wall. Batman going in too early for the mediums, and a race that's looking like those two drivers are going to finish in the top five doesn't even look like that again. Who will be going into the pits? Iron Shin going into the pits. Parks going into the pits. Piggy still staying out. And Cowley definitely has gotten your race win here. Very, very complete race from Cowley. Out of the session, Toberito in the pit. So that's not going to be a safety car. He decided to go on the mediums. Another driver decided to go on the mediums that absolutely fluked the strategy. Iron Shin going on the mediums. What's going on, man? Why are these drivers just going on medium? It doesn't look dry enough to me. What do they know that I don't? I need to understand. It does not look. Okay. It's starting to get dry now. It's. Oof, oof, ooh, ooh, ooh! He broke his wing. He just broke his wing. Oh my days, man. Oh my days. It's falling apart in Kick Sauber. Calamity. I said lots of drivers are going in for the mediums. It is working now. Batman just went in too early. That was just too early for Batman. Because a lot of drivers are going in ahead of him and they will stay ahead of him. When they come out, it's yellow flags in front as Toberator is out of the session. As Cowley now definitely, will he be thinking about the mediums? Piggy definitely will be thinking about them. Maybe Piggy will be thinking about them for sure. He's one of the ones who hasn't come into the pace yet. Parks now has gotten another 3-second penalty as he decided to go in for fresh inters, as the mediums might be the tires to be on very soon, but we will see. Still out there on the fresh inters, we'll see what he can get. The Visa RB team have now recovered. Like I said, can they get a good result compared to their competitors in this one? And it looks like they are going to do so. They decided not to put a foot wrong. They are gaining the places now. But the question is, will they go in for medium tires? We will see at the end of this one. Parks now will have to try and keep fighting on these inters. But I do not believe he will have the strength to do so, as the track is getting more and more dry, and he has that damage on his car where after he went into the back of Iron Shin that was struggling on the mediums. As he's slightly going off there. We have 6 laps to go in this one. Piggy is staying out. Batman is out of the session. Batman is fully out of the session now. Has his controller died again? Oh no, he's getting lapped. Okay, he's getting lapped. I was about to say. Well, is he out of the session again? What is going on? As Rotty off track here, and Adam the Sweet is going to fly past him. There's just so much going on. I can't even keep track. Gaming Magpie going into the pits now. It really is time for fresh tires. Oh, but they are double stacking here. That's not really going to be good for Gaming Magpie. A little bit of a double stack there. He's going to lose time, but he might keep his place as the Mercedes wouldn't get past him. Don't believe so. Sorry, the Kick Sauber of Batman is not going to get past him, and he's on older tires. Parks on those inters Inters that at this moment might not be the tire to be on, but he would try to go to the end for sure. Cowley can't just go to the end on this one. He knows definitely he can go to the end. I don't think anybody will be putting pressure on Cowley here. So this is one man who hasn't put a foot wrong. Mr. Pot was showing his experience now for the soft tires. Maybe might not be able to get the win, but he might definitely get a podium here. Going for the soft tires, drivers in front of him will be thinking about a pit stop for sure. Randy Dan hasn't come into the pits at all in this one. I don't know if he's trying to go to the end on those inters. Pax staying out on the inters, and they are starting to struggle now. It's clearly dry. It's clearly dry now. As Batman just went into Batman. Who else went into? I believe it was Batman. Who else? Toberito and Wacky Racer. The three drivers that just went in a bit too early for those mediums. As Pax is on those inters. Can he trying to make sure that Pot Wash doesn't catch up to him? In how many laps? 5 laps. Pot Wash will need to catch up a bunch of seconds, but he's on those soft tires. It's still the track is a little bit still cool. DRS hasn't been enabled, so this is still an interesting one to call. Parks now with the quickest second sector, so the Inters are still the tires to be on, and he's now going to have the DRS from Dima, who's going into the pits. Parks will try and get the podium here. Few laps to go, he can hold on to this. Few laps to go, Cowley definitely can hold on to this win. Parks now with the quickest lap, so the Inters definitely still the tire to be on. What is Pot Wash doing? Is he struggling on those softs? It looks like he is struggling on the soft slightly. Oh, somebody spun behind. Somebody spun behind. I believe that was the Aston Martin of Angry Badger, but he held on to it. He wouldn't go into one. That's not going to be a safety car. I thought that was going to be a safety car. I was going to recover a lot of races here, but that's not going to be a safety car. He spun. He lost the back end a bit, but he's going to keep it. Batman now putting pressure on Gaming Magpie. The Kick Sauber and Visa RB are fighting behind. Oh, as the Kick Sauber goes onto the gravel, the Visa RB is keeping him behind. His teammate is going to lap him very soon. The Kick Sauber team will still get more points than the Visa RB to here, but not enough compared to how strong the Visas have been this week. And as 50 Gens to make a place on Slater, who's out of the session once again. He just keeps getting kicked out of the session. That McDonald's Wi-Fi is not really doing him any favors. As Parks now will be lapping his teammates. I know Batman will definitely be gutted with seeing what's happening. Gaming Magpie has been overtaken by Batman, who's going off track there. They didn't make contact. They can't make contact. I mean, they can't make contact. Mr. P going to Batman now has that 3-second penalty. Mr. Piggy going into the pit, so that's not going to be an extra 2 points for the Kick Sauber team. But Batman definitely will be going to the end. It's P2 now for Parks as Piggy going into the pits for Inters. Interesting call. Cowley is going to be a race winner for sure. Finally, he's going to get his race win. As he's sliding through that corner, he's the race winner he certainly deserves. Another driver who hasn't put any foot wrong. The softs now are starting to kick in on that McLaren. Can he catch up and get up to the podium? It's going to be quite difficult. He's going to have to catch up a lot of seconds to the podium positions. Parks looks like he will be able to hold on to the podium even with the damage on his car. But we're going to see. I'm not bad for him, but it's been a very interesting race. A lot of places switch. And Shazam, look at Shazam going. He's up to P5. Will Pot Wash get past Shazam with 3 laps to go in this one? Shazam probably will be my driver of the day if he does finish where he is. Let's see where he started. Position changes. Yeah, all the way down in P12 up to P5. If you can hold on to this P5, definitely will be the driver of the day. He's been racing very well. The 2 Red Bulls making a lot of places in this race. And there have been other drivers who haven't put a foot wrong. 29 laps Randy has done. 29 effing laps. Have that. 29 effing laps on the Inters. What is he on? What the hell? He's showing that you can actually do the whole race on the Inters. I mean, I think he might have gone in early because it's 31 laps they've done. So he might have gone in early in this one. 29 laps is crazy though. God damn, Randy. If he holds on to a P4, that's a good one. But I don't know how he's done that. In 29 laps, he's done those tires. But here we go. Looks like he went into the pits right at the start of the race and he's holding on to the pot wash though. 1 second behind Shazam now. DRS still hasn't been enabled. So the soft tires will be stronger, but maybe not too strong. As you can see, Pop was slightly losing the back end, going off track there onto the gravel, but he can hold on to his car. As behind Batman, will he be gaining on Slater in front? Slater is out of the session. Can Batman in a few laps catch up to the disconnected? Oh, he's back in the session now. Disconnected Ferrari, but he's back in the session now. Right behind him is going to be Batman's teammate Pax in P2. Adam displays with a 3 second penalty. Cowley in the last few laps in this one, absolutely enjoying this race. 2 more laps to go, and Cowley is going to start his charge for this championship. Get that win. Pax in a good position to continue his charge on his own championship. 3 second penalty now for Slater. Batman definitely be thinking about a place on him because I believe Slater has more penalties than Batman. Let's see the penalty situation here. Okay, there's just 3 second penalty. I've just said 3 second penalty, so no, he doesn't have more penalties than Batman. So Batman will need to get past him if he wants to finish ahead of him. Pot wash though will get past Shazam there, up to P5. Pot wash goes. Let's see the interval. As he's 3 seconds away from Randy down now with few laps to go. Can he catch up to Randy down and finish ahead of the Aston Martin, who has been on these tires from the start of the race? Absolutely rounds of applause to Randy. I don't know how he's done it, but he's doing it. As Pax now 10 seconds behind Cowley. Cowley a cruise in this race, as Pax wouldn't get that win from him from this far behind for sure. He's gaining on Cowley as they go lap by lap, but Cowley is just cruising. Cowley's not gonna push too hard. He knows he has the win already. DRS finally has been enabled on the final lap of this one, but it's going to be victory lap. Cowley with 13 Votti with 13 seconds. That's crazy. That's crazy. That means 50 Gent is going to get him. Who else is going to get him? Maybe Slater. Slater might get him. We'll see. But victory lap for Cowley. The Haas driver has done a great job here. Well deserved race. Slater takes the fastest lap. Paul Walsh is going to grab that fastest lap easy on this final lap of this one. Maybe we will see. He has the soft tire, so he probably has to grab that fastest lap at the end of this one. And he's going to have the DRS. He's going to be one of the first drivers to use the DRS in this one. Iron Shane losing a place to Pot Wash. Losing a place to Pot Wash. What happened there? Did he make a mistake? Was he ahead of Pot Wash? I don't remember him being ahead of Pot Wash. Pot Wash now right behind Randy Dana. He's going to have that DRS on the final lap of this one. Can he get past Randy Dan? He has that DRS. This is the lap that he will try to get the fastest lap. Down the inside, Pot Wash is going to go, and he's definitely going to clear him. Back to the front. Final sector. For Cowley, don't lose it. Oh my God. Don't put it in the wall. The final lap, Cowley. You can just stroll to the end there. Pax is gaining and gaining on him, but he's definitely not going to get that win. As Cowley, few corners to go. Rotti with another 3 second penalty. Cowley, few corners to go. There's yellow flags at the back. What's going on there? Is definitely going to be your race winner for his first race win of the season. A race that he put no foot wrong. Picked his strategy to perfection. Gets a 3 second penalty as he crosses the line. But that would not matter, as Pax also has a 6 second penalty. Pax will take P2. Cowley is your winner. Mr. Piggy is going to hold on for P3. A Pot Wash with a good recovery up to P4. Randy Dan has dropped down to P6. Expected on those old Inter tires. The rest of the drivers have finished this race because they have been lapped. So Iron Shane will take P5. Randy Dan will take P6. Shalan P7. Kezinator in P8. Let's give a round of applause for Kezinator. The Williams driver has done well in this one. Stayed out on the Inters. The strategy may be right, but not too correct. But he will finish in the top 10 ahead of his teammates who's DNF'd in this one. And that's a strong result for him. Round of applause to Kez. Shazam will take P7. Also a good result from Shazam, starting from where he did start. But Kezinator coming out of the final corner, crossing the line. And it's P8 for him. A good result. Adam the Sweet will take P9. The Haas team grabbing the strongest points for today. And Rotti will round up the top 10 because 50 Gent has been lapped, so he will not get that place on Rotti no matter the penalty. So Rotti crosses the line, and that is the end of the race. P10 for Rotti. Say finally has winning. Yep, finally has getting that win. Last week was Alpine. This week is Haas. We love to see new race winners every week, not just the Visa RBs every time. Standing at the top of the podium is going to be Mr. Fox. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? His charge for the championship has begun once. At the end of last week's race, he said he's giving up. He's not even going to care for the championship anymore. But I'm sure this win is going to change his mind for sure. And it's definitely going to change their mind because we all know as they celebrate that the champagne is going to taste the best in the Haas camp. Cowley wins the Spanish Grand Prix, accompanied with Pax and the Mercedes of Piggy on the podium as they celebrate a good round four complete in Ufrl. Will be next. Last race is going to be the 100% on Friday. See you guys then. Race winner is going to be Cowley. Fastest lap for PRV Widget. And driver of the day, Shazam. Yeah, Shazam is my driver of the day. He got driver of the day here, and he's going to be my driver of the day too. I will have given it to. Should I give it to Kez? It's between Kez and Shazam. Kez and Shazam, but I don't know. Tough one, tough one. But good job for everyone. A good job. Let me add Shazam up. Let me add him, and I already have him as Cowley. Oh, let's get the race director if we can. Incident. I don't think I'm going to see everything. I'm going to. Yep. Sorry, guys. I don't even think I got finishing order, but we have race control, so I believe they will get all of that. Finishing order and the rest of that. But thank you guys for tuning in. I've been Willie Fernandez on an absolutely up and down race here. Even you couldn't predict that one. It is over. I've been Willie Fernandez. We have been UFRL. Good night and goodbye.